Happy Pilates Day. Make sure everything feels good. And we're going to start lying on our backs today. Let me just make sure everybody can see me there. You can see the mat. We're going to start lying on our backs, and you can have a pillow underneath your head if you need. Otherwise, just put your head on the floor. And you have a choice with your leg position here. You can either walk the feet wide and let the knees drop in. So it's almost like a house of cards where they just balance themselves and you don't even have to work to hold your legs there. Or you could open your knees and place the soles of your feet together in a butterfly position. So this is called a reclined butterfly. You want to make sure that your hips, your knees, and your lower back like the position that you choose, all right? And then I want you to take your hands, place them underneath your head. Just lift your head up. Almost give yourself a little bit of a traction stretch, and then place your head down so you feel that there's this lovely length and ease along your neck and shoulders. Let your elbows rest on the ground and place your hands on the sides of your ribs. So right hand on your right ribs, left hand on your left ribs, and then just completely relax into position. And either let your gaze soften or allow your eyes to close completely, whatever feels best for you this morning. And we start becoming aware of our breath. And it really doesn't matter if you're breathing in and out through the nose or in through the nose and out through the mouth. Just start to notice the movement of your ribs under your hands as you breathe in and out. Feel how the ribs lift up and out and backwards as you inhale. And notice how the ribs close gently as you exhale. Visualize your lungs inflating like two balloons as you breathe in. And then squeezing the air from your lungs as you breathe out, making it as full an inhale and as full an exhale as your body allows. Start to visualize as you breathe in and your lungs inflate, that you're almost giving your heart a little bit of a hug with your lungs. And then as you breathe out and you let the air escape from your body, can you visualize that there's maybe a little bit of space around your heart just to float? Let all the frown lines and tension lines disappear around your forehead, around your eyebrows, around your eyes. Allowing any unnecessary tension in your body to soften and release. And start to become aware of how your body is supported by the ground underneath you. Notice your points of contact to the earth and to your mat. And as you stay connected to your breathing, start to become aware of your belly. And just for a moment, allow your belly to soften and release. And when you let those muscles soften and release, and when you allow your internal organs to soften and release, can you notice how your breath perhaps travels a little bit lower towards your pelvis and towards your base? Allow yourself to find a gentle, rhythmic breath. Pausing here just for a moment as you turn your awareness to your energy this morning. And just as we scanned our physical body and we allowed our physical body to soften and release and find support, can you do the same for your energetic body? And staying here for just one more deep breath in and out. Open your mouth and sigh. Just let your eyes open slowly, blinking gently, focusing your gaze on the ceiling above you, and then bringing your hands just down underneath your thighs, and you're going to just help yourself lift your legs up, because at this point you might feel that your legs are very heavy after that release. And then just separate your knees and feet slightly to hip distance. Place your hands on your lower belly and take a moment here to imagine that you're balancing a cappuccino on your lower abs. We're going to start tilting the hips so that you spill your cappuccino froth towards your chest. Feel the imprint of your lower back here. And then let your pelvis roll back to where it started, so you're balancing your drink again. And then again, tilting the hips. It can be very, very small movement. Especially if you're quite tight in your lower back, you might feel quite a strong stretch around those lower back muscles. It might not feel like you're getting a lot of movement, but as long as you're aware of it, that's the most important thing. And now just keep this tilting action of the pelvis going and start to notice the ripple effect. It's almost like a wave that travels up your spine. So as you're tilting your pelvis, feel the lower back moving, and then start to notice your upper back where your rib cage is. Start to notice if there's any movement there. Start to notice your shoulders, your neck, and maybe there's even a little bit of a rippling action all the way up to your head. Gentle, gentle movement to warm up the spine. And then bring yourself all the way back to the center so you're balancing your drink. Bring your hands up towards the sky. And we're going to start to open the arms wide. Breathe in. Just let your arms hover. And exhale to bring the arms up and connect the tips of the fingers to their partners. And again, inhale. Energy through the fingertips. Exhale. And just being very conscious of that subtle movement of your body. So when you bring your hands up, one of the reasons I ask you to connect the tips of your fingers is that it just forces you to slow down for a moment and be a little bit more mindful of what you're doing. Let's take one more. Open your arms, and this time keep your arms open and then place the backs of your hands to the floor so your chest is nice and wide. Start to walk the feet a little wider, almost to the width of your mat maybe. And then we start moving the knees from side to side. So both knees roll to the right, and then both knees roll to the left. And it doesn't have to be a big movement to start. Feel it out. Observe if there's a difference in tension or stretch between the two sides. Like I can notice when my knees go to the left that I feel quite a strong stretch on my right lower back. But when I take my knees to the right, I don't really feel a stretch. So just interesting to notice on yourself. And then bring both your knees over to the right side. Just let your legs settle. If you need to put something underneath your knees for support, do so. Turn your head to look over the left shoulder, and we stay here for 3 deep breaths in and out. We're not doing anything here besides giving our body weight to the ground and breathing. Notice how when you breathe, there is a natural release of all the connective tissue and all the muscles through your body. On your next breath, bring your knees back up to the center. Pause in the middle for a moment and just feel your feet connect to the ground. And then roll both your knees to the left. Support yourself again if you need. Turn your head and look over to the right this time. And again, just relax into the space and connect to your breath. And just noticing the power that your breath has over your physical body. The shift that occurs just through breathing. And then on your next breath, bringing your knees all the way back up. And then again, walking the knees and the feet in towards each other. If you've got a pillow underneath your head, slide it out. Bring your hands down beside you, palms down or palms up, it doesn't matter. This time we're going to roll our hips all the way up towards the ceiling. So you're coming up into a pelvic curl, into a shoulder bridge, and stay here for a moment. Double check that you can feel the gluteals working, not your lower back. Don't let your back take over. The abdominals are connected gently, and then start rolling down through your spine. Soften through the back of the neck, the back of the ribs, the lower back, and then release the pelvis at the bottom. Let's do 2 more. Tilting hips, rolling up, and do whatever breathing feels natural for you. Pause at the top, bum cheeks working, abdominals supporting, and roll down through the spine. Be conscious of your movement. Refine your movement. And release. And let's take just 1 more time. Tilting hips, rolling up into your bridge position. Lovely squeeze with the bum cheeks. Maybe you're feeling a little bit of a stretch at the front of the hip joint as well. And then ripple down through the spine. Soften across the chest. Allow your belly to release. And settle at the bottom. Now, take your cushion or your block or your towel, and I want you to fold it so that it's relatively thick. And you're going to place it between your knees. Place your hands onto your lower abs just to monitor that nothing is moving through the pelvis or through the lumbar spine. Relax your head. And then as you breathe out, start squeezing the prop you have between your knees. So can you feel your inner thighs engaging here? And then let that tension release. And again, use your breath out, squeeze. Make sure that your lower back is happy. Make sure you can stabilize across the pelvis. And release. We're going to take 3 more. And breathe as you squeeze. And release. 2 more. So we're working the inner thigh muscles, and these all attach up to the pelvis. One more squeeze. So these are really important muscles that help us with our pelvic stability and strength. And release. Good. Take your prop away. Put it just beside you. You might need it later. Arms down. Let's go back to our pelvic curl. Tilting your hips. Rolling up. And I want you to feel if there is a difference for you now that we've woken up the inner thigh muscles. And start rolling down through the spine. Imprint. And release. Let's take 2 more. Use your breath. Carry the movement. Stand evenly on the right and the left feet. Taking 1 more round. Tilting the hips. Rolling up. Getting that lovely lift from the base of the pelvis. Find the awareness of the inside of the leg. And then tilting hips. Rolling down. And imprint at the bottom. Walk your knees and your feet right next to each other now. Bring both hands straight up to the sky. Turn the palms to face each other. And let's start to scissor the arms. So one arm comes back as one arm comes overhead. Now you guys know that I love arm scissors because even though it's such a simple movement, it provides us amazing warm-up and mobility for the shoulder joint with control. And I want you to bring your awareness to your shoulder blades that are on your rib cage underneath you. And notice how they glide on your rib cage as you move your arms. They need to work together. So we've got healthy movement or biomechanics of the shoulders. And now bring the right arm all the way overhead. Let the right arm rest. Push your left hand onto the floor so you can roll onto your right side and make a little pillow with your arm. It doesn't matter if you come off your mat, because we're going to go back in a second. Put your left hand onto the shelf of your hip. Stretch your left leg all the way out long. Flex that left leg. And now lift your leg and lower it down. Don't let it rest though. Bring it just above the mat. Lift and lower. Guys, so just a few reminders here. Chin up. Shoulders away from the ears, and really make sure that you're connecting into that underneath oblique. You want to make sure you have stability through your spine and your pelvis, and the movement is coming from the hip joints. That's it. Keep a lovely straight line with your body. And it's interesting if you notice on yourself that your leg is drifting forward in front of your body, it just gives you information that your hip flexors are probably very dominant, okay? So just notice it on yourself, and as much as possible, keep your leg in line with your shoulder and your ear. Let's take 1 more. Lift your leg up and you hold it here. So you're trying to get a nice contraction into that top bum cheek. Point your toes. And then flex the ankle, push out through the heel. Do that again. Point your toes and flex. You still have the abdominals connected. 2 more. Point and flex. 1 more time. Point, stay there, and then bend the knee and overlap the knees on top of each other. Cradle the back of your neck. Left hand reaches forward. Let's do 1 opening of the chest. Lift your arm up, look up, and then start opening your arm, opening your heart, looking back as much as you can. And guys, it doesn't matter if you have to let the knees slide a bit. You need to make sure that your back feels good. If you want to stack the knees, then go for it. But notice how it feels on your body. Taking 1 more breath in and out to the stretch. And then lifting arm, roll your shoulders and chest. Make sure that your knees are lined up. Put your fingertips onto the floor. Stretch your right arm out and then push with your hand so you can roll your knees and feet all the way back to the center. Put your head onto the floor and both hands come up to the sky. Arm scissors, reach and reach. So we're just alternating arms. Let's do 2 more. Now this time, make sure that you end up with the left arm overhead. Place your hand to the floor, push with your right hand, and now you're going to roll onto your left side. And again, let yourself come off the mat. Make a little pillow with your bottom arm, and now your right hand goes onto the shelf of your hip. Stretch the right leg out, flex the foot, and lift the leg, and lower the leg with control. Keep it going. Chin up, shoulders down, and bottom oblique is working. In your mind's eye, do you have a straight line down the side of your body? Keep going. Keep focusing your mind on the muscles that we want to work. And this is the gluteus medius. It's this little side bum muscle. So important for stabilizing the pelvis from the sides now. Let's take 2 more. Let's take 1 more. Lift up and hold it here. We're going to point and flex. And point and flex. 2 more times. Point and flex. 1 more time to point. Stay there. And then bend your knee and overlap the knees and the feet with each other. Now take your top arm, your right arm, reach it forward. You're going to lift your arm up, cradle the back of your neck, and start opening the arm, the chest. Look back at your hand and just figure out what you need to do with your hips and your knees so that it feels good for you. And this is the most wonderful stretch and release for the front arm line here. Nice, easy breathing. And then lift the arm. Rolling your chest back, lining up your knees and your hips. Place your right fingertips onto the floor just in front of your chest. Stretch the left arm out and then roll yourself onto your back again. And this time, place the hands beside you. You should be back on your mat. Separate your knees and feet to hip distance. We're going up into a pelvic curl. Breathe out as you tilt your hips, rolling up. And now when you come up into the pelvic curl, does it feel any different? And then ripple down through the spine. Work your way through the lower back. And release. And again, a little tilt of the hips. So we woke up the inner thighs, and now we've woken up the side pelvic muscles here. So they work together, they're partner muscles, in helping to stabilize the pelvis. And taking just 1 more time, rolling up. And I'd like you to stay here for a moment, hover your arms and check that you can balance. And then bring your hands all the way up towards the sky. Keep your arms lifted and roll down through the spine. Take your time as you find an imprint into the lower back and then let your pelvis settle. Interlock the fingers. Place your hands underneath your head. Give yourself a little bit of a support like a hammock, and your elbows are floating in your peripheral. Now close your eyes for a second and just feel your lower back. Do you feel that there's any tension? If it feels okay, then you can stabilize where you are, but if it feels like it's bracing, then maybe you need to tilt the hips a little bit so that you find a release in your back. Open your eyes. Wherever you are, you stabilize your pelvis. Nod your chin. Breathe out. Let's come up into our first chest lift of class today. And then releasing down with control. As you curl forward, feel your ribs sliding towards your pelvis and then releasing back. It's not a sensation of pulling on your head. It's a sensation of supporting your head. And yes, you will feel these front neck muscles working. They need to work, guys. They have to support the weight of your head. But you want the workload to come from your upper abdominals. Let's just take 2 more. Let's take 1 more. Curl forward, and I want you to stay here. Now keep one hand supporting your head. Put your other hand right down low where your pubic bone is. You stay where you are as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, flatten your abdominals away from your hand. Can you feel something happening? Stay where you are. Take a breath in. Breathe out, and we flatten, 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 flatten. One more time, take a breath in. And as you flatten, that is your deepest abdominal muscle working. It's called the transverse abdominis, in case you care. Okay, but we want it to work to support our internal organs and our lumbar spine. Putting your hand back behind your head. Can you lift a little higher? Can you open your elbows? Can you flatten the abdominals? And releasing all the way back down. Nicely done. Just press the elbows back for a moment. And then slip your hands out. And I just want you to hug your right knee towards your chest. Guys, if you need to put a pillow back underneath your head, feel free to do so. If you can, stretch the left leg out long. If it's too much of a stretch, then just keep it bent. Move your hands to the back of your thigh. Flex your foot. And then breathe out as you straighten your top leg as much as you can. And release. And again, breathe out. Imagine that you're going to try and stand your foot on the ceiling above you. And release. We're going to do 3 more. Connect your movement to your breath. And it doesn't matter, guys, if you straighten your leg completely or not. Do you feel a stretch? That's the most important thing. We're going to do just 1 more time. And now I want you to bend your knee halfway. So it's like a little bit of a bend at the knee. Can you hold it there and place your hands onto the front of your pelvis? You're not allowed to move your pelvis. You're not allowed to move your lumbar spine. Start to lower that leg with that little bend. If you can bring it all the way to the floor, then that's fabulous. You can lightly touch the heel, but if that's straining your back, then stop sooner. And then breathe out as you bring that leg back up again. You see I still have a little bend in the knee. And we go. Lower. Do whatever breathing feels natural for you. Just make sure that you're not holding your breath. And what's really nice in this position is that you can use your left leg that's on the floor as a little bit of an anchor. And this movement here is called disassociation. And right now we're doing disassociation at the hip. Can you move the weight of your leg independently of your pelvis and your lumbar spine? This is functional movement for every day. 1 more time. Lift your leg up, hold it, bend your knee, and place that right foot down. Good. Hug your left knee in towards you. You might need to wiggle out your spine a little bit or adjust yourself. And then see if you can stretch that right leg out along the ground. Move your hands behind your knee. Flex your left foot. And here we go. Stretch. And release. And as you do this movement with breath, you might notice that the first one felt really tight, and then as you do more and more of them, that it releases. You might be able to straighten your leg a little bit more. One more time. Stretch Now, do a little bend of the knee. Take your hands onto your pelvis. And let's start lowering the leg. Decide how far you can go. As soon as you feel like your lower back is arching, you've gone far enough. And when you bring your leg up again, can you do that without tucking the pelvis? Pelvic lumbar stability as we disassociate at the hip. So we do this movement every day without even thinking about it. Sitting in a dining room chair, standing up again, getting into your car, getting out of your car, sitting down on the toilet, standing up from the toilet. So it's important that we have these connections and that we don't even have to think about it during the day. They just kick in. Keep breathing. One more time. And hold it here. This time, hug your left knee to your chest and then bring your right leg up to join it and maybe just rock a little bit from side to side. Now I want you to bring your legs up to about a 90-degree angle. And again, if your lower back is straining, bring your knees in tighter. Bring your hands into a low V position, palms down, chest open, squeeze the knees, roll both your knees over towards the right, but don't go further than the edge of your mat. Stay here for a moment, and then draw yourself back to center using the obliques. Now roll your knees to the left, pause, feel the connection in the abdominals, and draw back to the center. Now, take your knees to the right, and if you are okay on that first step, you might want to go further. The trick is to keep the knees and the feet together and to keep the left shoulder down. Back to the center. And again, rolling over to the left, right shoulder down, squeeze the knees and ankles, and back to the center. Keep going. You're going to do 2 more to the right and 2 more to the left at your own pace. At any point, if you feel your lower back, then just contain the movement a little bit more. You don't have to go so far. Relax through the back of your neck as much as you can. When you finish the last one, come back to the center and stop. Hook your hands behind your thighs. Start moving your legs away from you until your elbows are straight. Tuck your chin, round your spine, and start to notice how you can pour your body weight in towards your feet, pushing into your thighs, into your hands. As you roll forward, your feet will touch, and then you bring your forehead to your knees. And now reverse it. Start rolling back. Go back until you have your elbows straight, and then pour your body weight from your feet towards your head. Lie back and draw your knees to your chest. And let's go again. Go at your own pace. And this is sort of like a halfway combination between rolling like a ball and a roll-up. So really nice modification for anybody whose body isn't ready for or doesn't like either of those exercises. This is a pretty good one to do. One more time. Move your legs away, tuck your chin in and breathe. Breathe, 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 breathe. Nice. And then just wrap yourself all the way around. Roll up into a sitting position. And now move back so that you have your legs on the mat completely. You can pull the flesh of your bum out the back. Legs are together. Pick up your right foot and cross it over the left knee. So you're standing your foot flat and then curl the left toes up. Right hand, prop yourself up so you're sitting up tall. Left hand reaches. And now do a little bit of a twist in the lower spine, then your rib cage, hook the elbow, and then continue that spiral by allowing your head to look over the right shoulder. Now we're going to stay here for 3 breaths in and out. You're not forcing, You're allowing the rotation of the spine. Use your arms to create space. Use your breath to release. On your next breath, just release slowly, uncross, stretch that leg out, just maybe give the knees a little bit of a shake, and now left foot steps over. Make sure that that foot is flat, curl the right toes up, put your left hand behind your back to support yourself, reach up, there's the lengthening of the spine, and now lumbar spine twists, thoracic spine twists, hook the elbow, and then continue looking over your shoulder. And just stay here and allow your breathing to take you deeper into the twist. One of the biggest mistakes that we make is we force our twists, and that's how we cause back injuries. You don't have to be an owl while you look all the way around yourself, yeah? Taking one more breath in and out. And then release, unwind, and stretch that leg out. Give it a little bit of a shake. And now we're going to apply that mobility to an exercise called the seated spine twist. Legs together, toes pulled up. You can bend your knees if you need to, but you must sit up nice and tall. Bring your hands in front of you with the elbows bent, and then you open the arms just until they're framing your ears, and then the arms lock into position. Let's do a single twist towards the right, and hold it there where you're able to keep your knees and your feet squeezed together and come back to the center. Little twist towards the left and come back to the center. Now let's add a double breath. Breathe into the center. Breathe and grow taller. You don't have to force it. Allow your body to find its range. Chest open, back wide. Inhale one more time, nice long spine. Come center, hold it, and relax, nicely done. So I want you to sit. I'm gonna turn sideways so you guys can see me. Putting your right shin to the front, and your left shin to the side. Let yourself sit on a cushion if you need to. And we're just going to do like a little seaweed action from side to side. So that lateral flexion of the spine. So those of you that have been coming to my classes, you know that I do something like this in every single class because the side lines of our body get so tight every day, okay? And those of you that are trying this for the first time, there's no right or wrong. It's about opening the side of the ribs. So you don't have to force it. And now we're just going to do one more time to each side. And now put your right hand to the ground. Do a twist with your shoulders so you can put both hands to the floor. Just line up your hands with each other and then try to square your shoulders to your hands. Close your eyes and let the rest of your spine, your head, and your pelvis figure out where they need to go. Because all of us are going to be in a slightly different position based on our bodies. Open your eyes. Start lifting your eye line, lifting your heart, and getting a little bit of an extension in the spine. And then tuck your chin in. Push away from your hands, round your spine, and notice how your hips roll back. Now, lift your eye line, lift your heart, and then tuck your chin, round your spine, roll back. So I quite like to do this with my eyes closed because it really doesn't matter what it looks like. It's about how it feels. And start to connect into your breath. I don't mind when you inhale or when you exhale. The point is that you're breathing And we are finding that beautiful extension and flexion of the spine with that twist. This is called the mermaid. And then just come back to settle in the center. Move your right hand to the middle of your mat. Pick up your left hand, take a little peek underneath, and then come all the way up. Just switch your legs around. So you're going to have now your left shin to the front, right shin to the side. Figure out if you need a cushion under your hips, and then here we go. And also, guys, if you've got any knee issues, you actually might want to put something underneath this left knee at the front. Movements. And can you feel already that this is starting to get easier? And now, put your left hand onto the mat. Do a twist with your chest so you can put your right hand down. And then level out your hands. Square your shoulders. And once again, close your eyes. Feel where your spine, your head, and your pelvis need to be. Make any adjustments so that it feels good for you. Open your eyes, and we start arching and flexing. And some people might call this extension. Arching is exactly the same thing. Some people call this flexion or curling, rounding of the spine. So whatever words make sense for you, we're trying to find movement through the body in this spiral position. Taking just 2 more. Notice how it feels on this side in comparison to the first side. Come back just to the center. Move your left hand to the middle of your mat. Pick up your right hand, take a little peek underneath. And then we come all the way up. Nicely done. Come onto all fours. So take a moment to get your wrists in a happy place. Try to get the middle finger pointing forward and spread the other fingers out. Get the knees underneath your hips. And then stretch the right leg backwards. Take a moment to make sure that your shoulders and your hips haven't moved. And then pick up that right leg and hold it in there. Lower abs have to work here. Round your spine and bring your knee towards your nose. Stretch your leg all the way out. And again, round your spine, knee to nose. Feel the belly button lifting. And stretch. And we're going to take 2 more. And stretch. One more time, round. And stretch. And then bring that knee back in underneath you. Left leg extends back. Lift up that leg and pause for a moment. Shoulders are square, hips are square. Round your spine. Feel the belly lift. And reach. Taking 3 more. Last 2. And one more time. And release. Bringing that knee in and center here. We're going to do 3 push-ups. You're going to bend your elbows, keep them tight to your body. It doesn't matter how low you come. Are you able to keep your feet on the floor? And then press back up. 2 more. And we go, bend the elbows. Make sure that your lower abs are connected. And press. 1 more time. And press. Open your knees. Big toes together. Sit back for a moment. Get your hips in a happy place. Give yourself padding if you need. Put your head down. Give yourself a cushion under your head if you need. And then walk the hands together. Make a prayer position with your hands. And then bend your elbows to place your hands behind your head. So that is such a wonderful release for those triceps muscles that we've just been working, yeah? Stay here for just a few more seconds. Enjoy the break. And then stretching your arms out. Separate your hands. Walk yourself up onto all fours. And once again, place wrists, place knees, nice long spine. Stretch the right leg back. Lift your leg up and pause for a moment. Now this time, bring your knee to your right elbow. You can move your body weight forward a little bit if you need to. Can you feel abdominals and obliques working? And then stretch the leg back. 3 more times. Elbow to right knee and stretch back. And again. And stretch. 1 more time. Guys, I'm going to be just a little bit mean, just a little bit mean. And hold it here. Stay here. Flex your back foot. Shall we do 3 push-ups with the leg in the air? Bend your elbows, and because your leg is extended from the hip, your leg should move with your body. You can keep it small, you can make it big. We're all going to be slightly different based on our upper body strength. Press up and hold it. Point your toe and bring your knee in. Well done. Stretch the left leg back. Lift it up. Bring your knee to your left elbow. Obliques. And extend back. And again, knee to the outside elbow. And reach. Let's do 2 more. 1 more time. Guys, if your wrists are sore, give yourself a break when you need. And reach, stay here. Flex your foot. 3 push-ups. Bend and press. 1 more. And hold. Point your toe. Bring your knee in. Open your knees wide. Sit back. Really nicely done. Settle yourself down. Let's take the weight off our wrists, bringing the palms of the hands together. And again, bending the elbows and giving those triceps a little bit of a break. Releasing your hands all the way forward. And separate your hands as you come up. You might want to come a little bit forward on your mats if you're back, yeah? You're going to stretch the right leg back. I promise you, we're not going to hold this for very long, I promise. This is just about getting placement. Stretch the left leg back. You're in a plank position. Let your knees come to the floor. Relax your toes out. So you've got quite a wide base, yeah? Round your spine. Keep your hands where they are. And let's do 3 little pulses back. It's gentle. Releasing around the sacrum. 1 more. And now come forward with a rounded spine. Start pushing your hips a little bit forward. Now listen, you have to tighten up your bum and your abs here to support yourself. Chest up. Now, bend your elbows so you can put your pelvis onto the ground. Let your ribs come down just a little bit. Your heart is up. Your eye line is a little forward, but don't strain your neck. And now, can you lift your hands off the ground? There's your back extensors. Place your hands down, and now let your chest come down, and just hover the tip of your nose. Let's go again. Lifting eye line. Coming up into a little baby cobra. Hold it there. Can you hover your hands? Make sure that you've got your back working without straining. Hands down. Lower your chest. Hover your nose. One more time. And we go. Little baby cobra. Hover your hands. Find those back muscles. Let them work for you. Place your hands down. Now listen up. Start to press up a little bit higher. So maybe you can feel the front of your pelvis. Now you have to use your abdominals. Tuck your chin. Round your spine as you come back. Make sure that your back feels okay. Tuck your toes under and then lift your hips up. Maybe move your feet a little forward so you feel a bit more stable. And let's pedal the heels down one at a time. Getting that release into the calf muscles, into the soles of the feet. And then push both heels towards the ground. Remember, it doesn't matter if your legs are bent or straight. Just stay here and feel your hands and feel your feet connected to the ground. Soften your knees, walking your toes halfway forward on the mat. And then line up your big toes with each other. Start to walk your hands backwards to your feet. You can go to the tips of your fingers if you need. And then just hang there like a rag doll. Maybe you can straighten or maybe you can bend the knees a little bit more. Find the position that feels good for you. And then if you want to intensify the stretch, hold one hand to the opposite elbow, then other hand to the other elbow, and just hang there, allowing your arms to frame your head, maybe a little sway from side to side. Center yourself. Release your hands, soften your knees, and start to unravel your spine, coming all the way up into standing, taking your time as you roll all the way up, just allowing your eye line to lift. Take a moment to roll the shoulders back and around, and then just allowing the shoulders to settle. Placing your hands onto the crest of your pelvis. We're just going to bend the knees. Make sure that the knees are pointing forward. And then straighten the knees. And again, bend. Keeping your spine upright here. And let's take two more. And release. Now bend both knees, stay there. Just pick up the right heel and really focus on getting a stretch and a release to the underside of the foot around the knuckles of the toes. And then place that heel down. Do the same thing with the left side. So you're going to pick up the left heel, get that little stretch to the underside of the foot, and place it down. Straighten both your knees. And now bend the knees. And as you straighten, pick up one heel. Bend the knees, and as you straighten, pick up the other heel. Bend, and up. Nice. Bend. So this is a really lovely way to start releasing from the fascia on the underside of the foot. And fascia is that connective tissue. It's like a web that goes over our entire body, through our whole body. One more time. Bend your knees and stay here. Now you're going to keep the knees bent. Release the arms. Taking a deep breath in as you reach all the way up. Look up. Connect the tips of your fingers. Open your arms. Nod your chin. And we start rolling through the spine. The knees are super duper bent. Coming all the way down. Maybe your fingertips touch the floor. Maybe you're holding onto the front of your ankles. Shake your head no. Nod your head yes. Let your head hang heavy. Take a breath. And up you come. Using abdominals, rooting into your feet. Restacking your joints as you come all the way up. Once again, just roll the shoulders around. And then pause here. Let your eyes soften or perhaps allow your eyes to close. And once again, we just turn our awareness inwards. Finding your connection to your breath. Feeling and appreciating each inhale and exhale as it moves through our bodies. Noticing how your physical body feels after the last hour. Turn your attention to your energy. Noticing how your energetic body feels after the last hour. Is there a harmony or a connection, perhaps, between your physical and your energetic aspects? Taking a deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, side out. Open your eyes, blinking gently. Start to wiggle your fingers, your hands, give the wrists a little bit of a shake. Maybe do the same thing for your feet, giving the toes, the ankles, the knees a little bit of a shake. Fantastic! Can't believe it's over. I know, it's like an hour of so much fun, isn't it? And happy Pilates Day!
Happy Pilates Day!
How is that for timing, hey? All right, let me just turn on the sound.